Hello, everyone. You too can have a podcast. You have a passionate voice. You want to be heard. You can be inspiration to others. And it is super easy. You all know that I am not technical. So just download the Anchor app on your phone or go to anchor.fm and get started sharing your voice and inspiring the world. Hello, I'm Kendra Von Esch, and you are listening to my 10-minute daily podcast, Reality Reflections. I bought into what this world said would make me happy. Money, prestige, power. And hey, if it feels good, do it, because life is stressful, so party hard. Do whatever makes you happy. But that didn't quite work out, because I felt even more insecure, full of fear, shame, and anxiety, and never, ever good enough. Then God found me and flipped my reality upside down and transformed my life. And I want this for everyone. So I left my executive career to help others find true acceptance, supernatural peace, joy, and love that only comes from a relationship with God. Here is my reality reflection for today. How is Satan prowling around the world looking for the ruin of souls? Basically, a listener said, can you help me understand a little bit more about Satan in the world today? This is a big topic, but I'll try to touch it in a broad aspect. So first, let's just go back to the Bible, right? The ancient serpent duped Eve. Did God really tell you that you can't eat that apple? That's because he doesn't want you to be God. He doesn't want you to know good and evil. So Satan didn't tempt her with sex, with some immoral kind of act. Satan didn't say murder Adam or take this gun and go take control. I mean, it was just to question God's word. And that's what he's been doing from the very beginning. So when God cast him down, first of all, Satan came down here because he didn't buy into God's plan. Why in the world would he use a human being who is far less than me, the angel, this beautiful Luciferian angel? His name was Lucifer. And he convinced the third of the other angels to go against God, right? I mean, that's basically what it all is all about. Go against what God says. Pervert God's plan. So he comes down, and our lives have never been the same, ever since the fall. We've got to battle Satan, who comes in so many different ways, right? There's Baal, there's Baphomet, there's Moloch, there's a Luciferian model. And by the way, if you're Luciferian, you believe that Lucifer is the light bearer, that he's the morning star. They believe that he gives them certain powers, and the more heinous they act, including hedonism, that's considered good in his eyes. That's a offering, if you will, the exact opposite of what we as Christians do, right? We try not to be that way. We try to be pure. This is that, good and bad that we battle all the time. All right, I just want to read something about Baphomet, the satanic tradition of abortion. Before Christ was born, Satan killed millions of children in hopes of thwarting Eve's promised Messiah. Now, after Christ, our children feel the wrath of the sore loser. Christ has overcome the power of hell and unleashed the beautiful power of grace. But as we endure these final days before Jesus' return, Satan is violent and venomous in his final throes. He seeks to exterminate children, to abuse children, and to deny children love, hope, and the knowledge of God. In modern America, Satan's hate for Eve's offspring is most heinously exemplified in the Holocaust of abortion. Ugh, when I say they're coming for our children, I mean it. They are teaching our children wrong. When I say they, most of them are in high-powered positions with a whole lot of money, where they are infiltrating universities, hospitals, our news media, our TV programs, our movies, because they are brainwashing us to live in a godless society. Look at what they're doing now with transgenderism. This is Baphomet's dream. Damage those children so that they don't know God. Confuse them so that they mutilate their bodies and cannot procreate. This is why he destroys the nuclear family. He despises humanity. I'm going to go to another thing, which is basically the Satanic Bible. I'm going to read a couple of things here that I'm not going to read all of them. There's 9, but some that really make me cringe. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. By the way, there's been millions of copies of the Satanic Bible, which was written in 1966. And if there's millions of copies that have been sold, think about how many people have been duped and what they are doing to make sacrifices and offering to this evil. So yeah, indulgence instead of abstinence. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours. Because of his divine, spiritual, and intellectual development, he has become the most vicious animal of all. So guess what? Satan hates humanity, including all of the people that are worshiping him. Let that sink in. Satan represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. Me, myself, and I do what feels good, whatever makes you happy. You are your own God, and you get to decide who deserves your love, and don't waste it on the ingrates. By the way, you and me, we're ingrates. Any Christian, any person just trying to live a good life, provide for their family, and have love and enjoying it, right? That's who they hate. They don't love us. By the way, they get to decide who's worthy of their love. When you've got Jesus, on the other hand, saying, hey, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Not at all what Satan wants us to do. All right, let's go to Baal worship, which represents the dark and depraved side of human nature. For example, Baal Peor, P-E-O-R, was the god of sexual license and represented the sexually depraved inclination of man's nature. Molech was the Baal of child sacrifice. There is a Baal for every depravity of man. In America, the sexualization of everything, including the premature sexualization of children, which leads to the act of child sacrifice called abortion, is an aspect of Baal Peor, which is perhaps the grossest aspect of society's bent toward the dark side and depraved side of human nature. It's tempting and seductive, since it bears appeal to the baser inclinations of man's depraved nature. Men are naturally attracted to Baal worship. This is why the Bible warns us against it. So, the appeal is basically, look, if you have this huge slide, And just like in Christianity, you've got to get up the slide, but you don't take the ladder, you take the slide, right? It's like walking up the escalator the wrong way. It takes you a while. It's got a lot of effort. But when you worship Baal or Satan, you just slide down the slide and you keep sliding down, more depraved. You become more evil as time goes on, and it's easy. Isn't it easier to live a hedonistic, evil life? And guess what? They don't have a conscience because they believe that they are better, that you and me as ingrates are worse than some of the four-legged animals on earth. They don't care about us. Quite the contrary, they hate us. Hate us. In ancient times, sacrifice might have been utilized in times of great strife. Child sacrifice, in particular, might have been utilized in hopes of fertility. What? But when it comes to the gruesome nature of this sacrifice, one cult stands out from the rest: the cult of Moloch, the alleged Canaanite god of child sacrifice. The cult of Moloch, or Molech, is said to have boiled children alive in the bowels of a big bronze statue with the body of a man and the head of a bull. Offerings, at least according to the Hebrew Bible, were to be reaped through either fire or war, and it's rumored that devotees can still be found today. Of course, rumored. They're everywhere. Satan's just done a much better job hiding it. War, my friends. War. Wars are started. They are created. And these evil people are making hand over fist money on war, on the production of weapons. And on top of that, they are sacrificing our children who are fighting in the war. That's what it's all about. It's okay, we'll just have them kill themselves. I'm not trying to make this political, but let's go back to Trump. Who stopped the endless wars? How many wars did we get into? War is inherently evil, but the people who play behind the scenes, the puppet masters, if you will, are reaping in not only money and power, but they're reaping in favors in their sacrifices to their God. And they have infiltrated everything. So if you think about, they're going after our kids, they've infiltrated our universities. They have culturally brainwashed, right? I was one of them. While I wasn't actually worshiping anything evil, I was living exactly the way I wanted to. Drinking and taking drugs and watching porn. Oh my gosh, please, if you are watching porn, stop. There are so many evils that come out of that. Go to confession, cast out those spirits. Because guess what? When you're this type of a person, normal missionary marital acts, if you will, I'm trying to be clean here. You're just doing a man and a woman having intimacy, right? Then what? Oh, I want to see two girls, and then I want to see two dudes, and then I want to see two guys and two girls, and hey, let's bring kids into this. Let's have rapes, gang rapes. Let's bring animals into this. Let's actually have snuff films. Let's do this with babies. This is the thing. Yes, that last one should scare the living heck out of you. Because the most powerful people want to kill and harm the most innocent, which is why abortion is such a sacrifice, right? It's such an offering. But if you are born and you are this high, powerful person, I have heard and seen on documentaries that they do horrible things to these babies. I just don't, you can go there with your mind. Sometimes they split them apart and they never make it. That was what this documentary was saying. So this is what happens when you're, remember the slide? So easy to slide down the slide. And the more you do it, the more you probably have good outcomes, because you're doing these things and you're worshiping evil, who is also going to give you rewards. Your power and your riches and everything is going to be here on earth. That's why for us, what is it to gain the whole world and to lose your soul? These people don't believe that they're going to hell. And you need to know that this is a practice at the most highest powerful people. So their children and their children and their children have been doing this for ages and ages and ages, since the beginning of time. So they have come in and they are going after humanity, and most importantly, the children. And look at what's going on right now. First, they went with feminism and they made women, because they wanted another person to work and tax them as well, right? So the women are like, oh, I want to be like men. Okay. Hello. God created man and woman, and they complement each other, and they are made for procreation, right? They become one flesh, not just in the marital act, but producing a baby. And honestly, the woman's role is nurturing and raising that family and teaching those children to be good children and teaching them real practical skills. I mean, back in the day, I don't know, 40s, 50s, kids would actually go to classes. They would learn trades, right? They would learn how to work on cars or be a carpenter or something like that. And what do we have now in our schools? We just memorize a bunch of things so that we could pass tests. And by the way, we pay a whole bunch of money to send our kids to universities to be indoctrined and to be duped to believing everything that the devil tells us is good in this world. And now, look at what they're doing with the kids. It's in hospitals as well. They are performing these sexual changes, I guess, cutting off perfectly healthy breasts on kids, castrating boys, and they're doing it at ages where, come on, we don't even allow them to drink. And they're able to decide, like, you're 18 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old. Now there's this whole underground, puberty blocker drug smuggling thing. Like, hey, call us if you want puberty blockers, if your parents aren't listening. Homosexuality, right? That became the next thing. Then, of course, divorce. And God, his whole purpose is a family, the nuclear family that grows up, loves each other, and lives by other nuclear families who help each other out, who are a community, not just a family in a neighborhood who knows nobody, and all you have to do is work for the money. You don't have any time to raise your children. You're giving the most important thing, education, over to these crazy people who are indoctrinating the kids to take them away from God. To, what do? Question God's word. So, that is how they are in the world today. That is why they could care less if we're paying $8 a gallon of gas. They could care less if we have freedoms. They could care less about us, period. As a matter of fact, we are their target of destroying us, right? We are what they hate. We are what they hate. So, as you see it, the sexualization of children, right? Children aren't supposed to be having sex. That's God. God told us that. It should be sex between a man and a woman. God told us that. Right? This is all about us and self-control and understanding God's plan and living in obedience, which is exactly the opposite of anyone who's worshiping the devil. And I hope you can see that it is focused on the children. Because guess what? My generation, I just think about, look at the kids today. How many kids, and I'm talking like little kids, like, 2, 3, 4 years old, are being raised by a tablet or a phone? You plop them in front of the TV and they watch hours and hours of subliminal sexual stuff on Disney films. And they get traumatic, look at that. Think about the Disney films and how evil the witches look in Snow White and how there's all these spells, even in I know The Wizard of Oz probably isn't a Disney film, but there's all these spells and powers and evil, right? Sometimes it's traumatic. My gosh, Bambi's mom being killed. It made me as an adult. I didn't see Bambi till I was an adult, and it made me sick. But that's because we have a conscience and we have God in our heart. That's the biggest difference. They want to traumatize us and our kids, and they want to normalize. Right now, they're trying to normalize pedophilia, that it's just another sexual orientation. And that, hey, we love these little kids. We don't want to harm these little kids. It's stealing the innocence. And then they're more dead and more dead to what God initially intended. So yeah, Satan has been behind movies, has been behind TVs, commercials. Think about the commercials today. You've got trans this, homo that, and then every other drug commercial on the face of the earth, which they're trying to kill us that way as well. How come there's so many drugs for everything, but no flippin' cures? Have you ever thought about that? Do you know people who are on this drug for this and that drug for that and this drug for that side effect from that drug? I know people who have popped plenty of pills. And still, they're just kind of taking care of the symptoms. But I know slowly but surely they're killing themselves with those things. It's hard to wrap your mind around. The only thing you need to remember is this. These people have been born into it. They have an unquenchable desire for more. More. And then when you get to the sexual side of the house, it's I need more. I need more crazy stuff. I need more stuff that makes me high in the rankings of Satan's world, which is destroying children even more, possibly even killing little babies through sexual acts. Can you imagine? But this is them. We can't wrap our minds around it because we just can't possibly understand who could do this. So you have people that are duped also. Not everyone who has blue hair or pink hair is a total leftist whack job Satan worshiper. I think a lot of those people have been duped to believe the lies. Well, you don't want your child to be dead if you don't change their sex, do you? A lot of these people, if you've ever watched the movie What is a Woman by Matt Walsh, which I brought to you quite a while ago, you can see these people believe what they're doing, and in some cases are absolutely evil, who get off on cutting off little penises and breasts and mutilating the kids because it's another offering. But they look at us with caring eyes and a soft voice, and they dupe us as well, right? Oh, but isn't it better to have a son alive than a dead daughter because she wants to be a boy? All of this emotional stuff and how they deceive. Satan is a master at it. That's why we need to take check, right? Be careful what you watch. Be careful what you listen to. Don't you ever breathe the words that you want you know who to come into your life. That's where we say, Jesus, possess me. Jesus, I want to know you. That's why we call that out. By the way, in all these things that I was reading, it reconfirmed you've got to say it out loud because Satan can't read your thoughts. So don't forget that when you're saying your deliverance prayers. Okay, so yeah, that is how evil came into the world. And that is why we, as Christians, need to arm ourselves with understanding and knowledge and be able to debunk and debate everything that some of the leftists say. And when I say that, I mean the radical people. Some of them are pure evil and some of them are just sucked in. So we have to speak up against it. We have to, as a matter of fact, speaking of Matt Walsh, I was watching a YouTube video he did yesterday. Go search Matt Walsh, YouTube, look at the thing that he did yesterday. And he's now saying, look, I've had death threats, I've had trolling, I've had, actually real close to home kind of harm coming his way. And he said, if you think that that's going to stop me, you're wrong. As a matter of fact, it's giving me more desire to get out there and do something, because I think there's a hospital in Boston where they are doing these sexual changes on young kids. And he said, it's no longer me just doing a movie. We've got to get out there. So he put the guy's number, the head of the hospital's number on there, their email, and all the other people that are at this hospital. And he's looking to us. We have to act. We need to educate. Go online, search Moloch worship, pull things out, cut them and paste them into a Word document and give them to your kids. If you've, show them that this stuff exists. And by the way, Wikipedia is a bunch of other people who aren't real. We're just all around us. We have so many people that are in power that shape this culture that are evil. And we've got to start educating people around us that, look, that's why this isn't a fight between powers and people, physical people. It's powers and principalities, because they have their worships and their services and their offerings and rituals, which I know are basically killing people, children, babies, women, men, and they get power off of that. We need that power in the opposite sense so that we can have confidence and courage and stand up for all of these poor children who are being stolen and trafficked, and do something about pornography where people are being forced to do this stuff. They don't have a choice. They are actually locked up. I've seen a couple documentaries on people who have been in that type of business. Okay, this is a long one. I thought it would be a little bit shorter, but it's really important. Look up Moloch, look up Luciferian, look up Baal, look up Baphomet, and notice, one's half goat, remember, half man. And I think it's Baal, who's half woman, half man. There's another thing that they do, which is they change God's plan in the womb. So these evil people, if they have a girl, they're going to start pumping that womb with testosterone and try to change that child's sex. Look at the Hollywood people. You've got Angelina Jolie. One of her kids is turning into a tranny. What's her name? Gwen Stefani. One of her kids looks like a girl. It's a boy trying to be a girl. It's everywhere because they're trying to normalize it, and they also get power riches, fame by butchering their kids and ruining their children and keeping their children away from God. Why do you think Jesus said, it'd be better for you to put a millstone around your neck and be thrown into the sea than to cause one of these little ones to sin? And so many people, if you really look at royalty and politics and actors and actresses, even sometimes in the sports figures scenes, there's a lot of families, right? Oh, she's the daughter of so-and-so. Like Carrie Fisher is the daughter of, can't remember her name, but she sung on The Wizard of Oz, and it's something that gets passed down. And these kids have been groomed from early ages to live a fake life, to pretend like they love the world, but at the same time, enrich themselves and not care a thing about us. You can look at it just in American politics, right? Look at the billions and millions that Nancy Pelosi, the Bushes, Obama, the Clintons, look at how much money they made while in government. Look at how long Joe Biden has been in government. Isn't it like close to 50 years? The whole deal was we were supposed to be in that role for 2 years and then go back into your other role, your other work life, right? It's not a career to be a politician. But guess what? This is going to be my last statement. We allowed it to happen. If you think about the Roman circus, that is why it was created, to entertain and to distract all of the people versus what was really going on. And boy, oh boy, do we have that today, right? Oh, I'm just going to watch TV until my eyes fall out of my head, or I'm going to take all the pleasure that I can. I'm not going to worry about the world, let them deal with it. You do you, I'll do me. Your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth. No, there's an undeniable truth. And unfortunately, Satan is not going to admit it. So we have to act. We have to educate ourselves. So that's my last plea to you. Go look this stuff up and start thinking about what people do and how they act. And why are they doing the things that they're doing? I don't know. I can't think for you. I can just probe you to think. And we should be stepping up. Get on Matt Walsh's program. Go to Ben Shapiro. I saw an ad, I haven't seen it, but he said, look, I have every cross answer for every leftist that comes to you with some stupid phrase that they learned, but they don't have any meat behind it, right? Like, oh, we should tax the billionaires. Or my body, my choice. And I'm going to start tuning in so that I can have those answers in my head and flip it back to the people who are just parroting what these evil people want them to parrot and believe. Okay, don't be scared though. Now's the time to stand up. He breathed life into them and they stood up and fought. I believe that's Revelation 11:11. Now is not the time to be some silent little mouse in the house. But we can't defend or fight for our children and our future unless we educate ourselves. Send me more topics. I want to do what you want me to do. And by the way, when I was reading the readings today, read the first reading. It's basically saying, look, you guys think you're gods and you're not. There's only one God and that's me. And oh, by the way, I'm going to make you suffer for believing that you're God's. Jesus wins, we all know that. But he needs us to be his hands, his feet, and his mouth down here on earth. This is why you are here for this moment. This is why you're listening to this podcast. This is why God gave you faith and true wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Do something with it. Educate your kids. Show them that this stuff exists. Thank you, God, for the last 2 years you've opened my eyes in such a new way. Let's pray. Let's pray. I think I'm going to end these with prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Oh, come, Holy Spirit, you are truth. Jesus told us that you will lead us to truth, that you will remind us of everything that Jesus said. Well, we need you now, Lord. Holy Spirit, we need you to give us the information and the knowledge and the courage to share it with the world, to stand up against this evil, to protect our children. Mary, we ask for you with your beloved spouse to also wrap your blue mantle around us to protect us against any harm, to lead us to your Son where we can be healed from our own infirmities and problems and temptations and sins, so that we can climb that slide and not go down fast into the depraved world that Satan rules. We know it's a stairway to heaven and a highway to hell, and we want to bring as many people up to see you, Jesus, in heaven. And Mary, we need your help. We're all your children, and you know Satan is coming after us and our children here on earth. Please protect us, guide us, and lead us. Guardian angel, please give us the messages and the consolations and the direction that we need today. And Father, you created us. You loved us to life, and we know that you need us now more than ever. That we need to live our faith, speak our faith, and teach our children to be little Christs and to know you. We ask that you protect our children from this culture and bring your Spirit into their heart so that they seek you. And none of this New Age stuff or these other horrific ways that lie and cheat, just like a Luciferian person thinks they're following the bearer of light. Help our children know you. Change their hearts, Lord, please. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now do you get why I constantly pray deliverance prayers and prayers of protection over my family and prayers of oppression over the things in my life that I feel Satan is trying to attack, including relationships and finances, etc.? It's because the fight is real. The devil is real. And the faster we understand that, the better off we're going to be, because we should have a fire in our belly right now to get online and look up this stuff so that we know what we're dealing with. And then start looking in the culture. Seriously, Madonna, Rihanna, what's that other chick? Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Beyonce. Are you not seeing them wearing Baphomet stuff, wearing devil, satanic I mean, even the Kardashians are like dripping in blood and all. I mean, it's no longer hidden. And our kids are watching it and singing to it and getting sucked in by it. Okay, my gosh, this is almost 40 minutes. I thought this was going to be a quick one. All right, so here's the deal. Next 2 days, I am not sure I will be coming to you because I'm going out of town. And sometimes it's just difficult to do the podcast in the morning, but I may. And I do want you to send me topics that you want me to cover, even if it's questions about this or other podcasts that I've done. Doesn't mean that I won't go back and dive into something. Send it to Kendra@KendraVonEsch.com. And I love you all. So does God. He has you here for a reason. Do not be afraid. That's why we need to walk with him. That's why we need him to fill us. And that's why we need to talk to him all throughout the day. So we have the words, that he draws us to the right information that we need, and that we can love all the way through this without being depressed, saddened, maybe in despair. Oh no, because the devil doesn't win. He doesn't. But we've got to fight. Okay. Yikes. Find something more with God, Jesus Christ, and have a blessed and inspired day.